So continuing our discussion on functions, now let's see how to find out the range of function. We have seen already how to find out the domain. Let's look into how to find out the range. So basically this process is linked to how to find your domain. So let's see the process actually. Let me just write down the steps that you need to follow. So step 1, while finding the range of a function like this. Okay, what do? You first write, here we have y in terms of x. Let's suppose your function was 2x plus 3. So I have written y as in terms of x. In step 1, we try to do some manipulation with the equation and we write x in terms of y. We write x in terms of y. So basically I get a function like this, x is equal to g of y. Now let me just try to apply this step on this particular function. So I am trying to take everything including x on the LHS and everything except x on RHS. So that's how this is going to look. So something like this, and x equals y minus 3 by 2. So this is what your g of y. Okay. Now what is step 2? So step 2 is now you find the domain of g function. Find the domain. I'm using D for domain for g of y. Okay, so simply find out the domain as we have did. It's just the variable now have been replaced. The process will remain the same. So how to find the domain? So it's looking like a rational function, but it will not be classified as rational because in denominator we don't have any variable term. So it's a proper linear function. So domain for D will be again y belongs to all real number, because it doesn't have under root, it doesn't have rational kind of thing. So that's why the domain is all real numbers. Now set 3 is domain of actually your g of y is actually nothing but your range of f of x. So whatever you have found as the domain, that is y belongs to R, you will say that we have found out the range which is y belongs to R. So it's like you replace x and y, you find the domain. Domain is now in terms of y, and we were looking for range. Range was what? Set of all values of y only. So yes, we have found it, which is y belongs to R. And there is one more step whose significance we'll see in some time. So go to actual definition of function and check. Now what to check, that we'll see in some time. Okay. So these are the steps that you need to follow to find out the range of a function. What is actual definition of function? Actual definition is this one. Okay, let's illustrate this process with the help of an example like this. Okay. So let's see. I want to find out the range. So step 1 was write everything in terms of y. That means here we have in terms of x, fx, we want to find out the g of y. So I can just do a square over here and I will get 2x by x. I can simplify this like this, x y square is equal to 2 minus x. And because I want to write x equal to everything, so let's take this x on this side. It will become y square and it will be plus x, so plus 1, 2, and x we got as 2 by y square plus 1. Now what you have found is nothing but your g of x, g of y that we were looking for. Okay, so we have done the first step, that we have found x equal to g of y. Okay, now what was the second step? So second step was to find out the domain of the function g. Now domain of the function g, what it will be? So first of all, it's a rational function. Yes, it's a rational function, but this function is not defined when y square plus 1 equals 0, or basically its domain will be all y's except those which makes the denominator 0. Now is the similar example that we have already done, that this is never actually occurring. This is not occurring for any real value of R. So we said that domain of G is simply y belongs to R, because y square is equal to -1 anyhow is not happening, is not going to happen for all any real number. So that's why all real number will belong to R. Okay, now this is the domain of G. What was the next step? Next step was to state that range of initial function f is nothing but, again, what you have found as domain only. So that's nothing but y belongs to R. But this is not the answer. This is not the answer, and this, the significance of step 4 is now that we are going to have a look at. So I'm removing this particular part from here. So since by algebraic manipulation I got y belongs to R, but if I go to my actual function and if I look at it, since y is equals to under root of something and y belongs to R include all negative numbers also, this guy tells us that whatever y will be always greater than equal to 0, but range of f that we have calculated through our manipulations is coming out to be this. So that's what it meant when I said that you have to go to your actual function and check it. The actual function says that y should be greater than equal to 0. So you should actually agree to this, and you should now say that no, the range is not y belongs to R, the range is y belong to 0 to infinity, basically all positive numbers including 0. Okay, is the process clear? So process, because it's kind of a manipulation, that like in the domain discussion also we had seen that we were getting incorrect result. Let me just take that to